Welcome everybody, I'm Skip Elsheimer, and this is the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show where we watch old 16mm films and comment on them, be amazed by them, be shocked by them. So that last film was a film that I had scanned for the Center for Home Movies when I was, well, we're still actively doing stuff for them, but I used to be on their board. They're the people that do Home Movie Day, among other things. And this was a collection that was donated to them. And this says, it was on the can, it said, Fire at Santa Fe Springs, no date, circa 1930s. Santa Fe Springs, Los Angeles County, California fire at oil well, oil derricks. Sign says Associated Oil Company, DeWinter Well, number 4, day and night scenes of oil well fires. So there you go. And that lady was just climbing on a ladder. Probably wasn't supposed to be climbing on that ladder. But, yeah, that was fascinating. And also a little horrifying at the same time. Anyways, like I said, we watch old 16mm films. And I got a film set up over here behind me. And I'm excited because I don't feel like we've watched this film. I'm going to really quickly check. But this is part of a series that I really, really love, which is this kind of health series, of which Toothache of a Clown is one. And there's another one that's really good. Dirt Witch Cleans Up. And this one is Safety, the Helpful Burglars. And it has a very... I don't know. I'll just let you watch this intro. Every time I show the films from this series, it has this intro, and everybody giggles in the audience. So, that poor girl. That's all I gotta say. All right, here's Safety, the Helpful Burglars. Enjoy.
Okay, come on, Mouse. Now, don't be scared.
I'm not scared.
Must be a way to get in here. Check all these doors real quick.
All right.
This is a pretty house.
Oh, boy, look at the pretty flowers.
You know, this kind of job ain't easy.
No.
Sometimes it's very unsafe. But they made this job real easy for us. Look out, there's a ski here. Be careful.
Thank you, Harry. You're a gentleman to point it out.
Wonder where the other one is. What'd you do, Mouse?
I found the other skate. Where's the light?
Yeah, try to find the light switch. We gotta get this place cleaned up. This is a mess. Thanks, Mouse. Now we can see where we're going. Oh. You see that lamp cord clear across the length of the room? This lamp belongs on the table nearest the plug. And you see, this cord should always be close to the ground and down over the... Ah!
Harry,
Yeah.
what about all these toys?
Yeah, this place is really ridiculous. You know, it's just too unsafe to rob. We got to get it cleaned up. Now, you take this side, and I'll take that side.
All right, I'll take the chest with me. And we'll start picking up the toys. 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 Picking up the toys.
Just a minute, Mouse. Safety is serious business.
Yeah.
Well, I guess safety can be fun, too. Okay, Mouse, now let's go check out the rest of the house. Harry! Mouse, this house is a total disaster area. We gotta get this place cleaned up or we'll never get nothing done. Come on, let's go.
Harry.
All right.
Oh, what a mess.
Try to get as much cleaned up as you can. That's right. Get off. Here. What? Wait a minute. Something else here. It's a door. Might be something in here. Let me check it.
Oh, Harry.
Quiet. Not so much noise. Find the light switch here. And it's not there. Must be on this side. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Iron. No, Mouse. Not the... Iron.
Iron? Harry.
Look at this. A hot iron left out like this. And look at this. Nice children's clothes all burned up. Do you realize a hot iron like this could burn down a whole house?
No.
All right. Sit down, Mouse. We'll take care of it.
Oh, Harry. Oh, Harry.
All right. Come on, Mouse. We'll find a bathroom and put something on it. Come on.
Oh, thank you, Harry. Oh, Harry, the towel. It almost burned. The heater's on.
Come here, Mouse. I'll give you a couple of aspirin for the pain in your hand.
Oh, it's all right, Harry.
Aspirin raspberry flavored
I got orange flavored.
and bubblegum flavored. Why, this is very dangerous, Mouse. Children will read this and they'll think it's candy, and they'll take more than they should have. And you should never take more than what it says on a bottle. Let's get all this stuff on the top shelf.
Right, Harry. Hey, look.
Huh?
Look.
What's that? Why, that's poison, Mouse. And right here in the bottom shelf. Why, any kid could get a hold of this.
You could kill yourself.
Yeah, you know it shouldn't be here at all? All right, now look, Mouse. I'm not going to give you anything for the pain in your hand, because there's no telling what's really in any of these bottles.
Would you kiss it for me, Harry? Harry! Where are you, Harry? Where am I, Harry? Oh! Harry! Harry! Oh, my goodness! Paint thinner? Mineral spirits? Turpentine? Dirty rags? Harry! Harry, come quick, Harry!
Mouse,
Is that you, Harry?
what are you doing here? Put out that match. That's a very dangerous thing to do. Look at these matches all over the floor. You shouldn't be playing with matches in here. Why, these people have left paint thinner, rags, and you playing with matches could burn the whole place down. Here, take this and let's go. And Mouse, never play with matches. Just be very careful. Oh, wait a minute. Came up against something here. It's a door. What's this? Oh, a kitchen. Well.
Hey, let's have a midnight snack.
Well, never mind about that now, Mouse. Just look at this octopus. All these cords in one plug.
Gee,
Oh, this cord goes to the blender.
this the pressure cooker.
There's one to the waffle iron.
Frying pan.
And one to the blender.
Oh, this is an awful mess.
Harry, look at that knife sticking up over there. A person could stab themselves on it.
This whole house is unsafe.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it real tough for us to do any kind of a job under these working conditions. Well, there's nothing to do but get this place cleaned up. Okay, Mouse, that cleans up the house. Let's hit the lights.
I got this one, Harry. Here's the switch.
Well, Mouse, it took us a long time, but we finally did it. We made this house safe. Now let's do what we came for. Let's rob the joint. Hey, they're coming back. We better get out of here. Come on.
Wait for me.
I'm getting into a new line of work, Harry.
Yeah, this house is too unsafe to rob.
Kind of wacky, kind of zany. Not as crazy as Toothache of a Clown, of course, or Dirt Witch Cleans Up, but still has its moments. What's interesting is, this is a film obviously made for kids, but some of the behavior that the helpful burglars are trying to deal with is not something kids have any control over. Like the general state of the house. I mean, kids contribute to it, but some of it is how the parents chose to live, and so it's kind of interesting. This could be something that a kid could watch this and feel like, I know my house is a mess, and now this film proves how dangerous this house is, that even burglars can't burgle. That's one of the interesting things about some of these things. And I'm always looking for more films in that series because they are all kind of wacky and kind of fun. This next film is I think is another EB film, and it's about clothing. Enjoy.
Why does a cowboy wear tough blue jeans and a rough woolen shirt? does a deep-sea diver wear a heavy watertight helmet? And why do firemen wear heavy rubber boots and heavy rubber coats? Most of us are not deep-sea divers, or firemen, or cowboys. But whoever we are, or whatever our work, we all wear clothing of one kind or another. Our clothing must protect us from the hot sun and the summer heat. Light-colored and lightweight clothing is much more comfortable on hot days than dark-colored, heavy garments. But there are days when we do need this kind of clothing, when we need protection from the winter cold and from snow. On other days, and in other seasons, we need protection from the rain. It's the same the whole world over, and with all the world's many peoples. Out across the blue Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away, are the Fiji Islands. Nature is very kind to the Fiji Islanders. Their clothing needs are simple. There is warm, pleasant sunshine the year around, and the islanders live an outdoor life most of the time. Nature is kind to these people of the Pacific, but it's a different story in the frozen Northland. Here, way up near the North Pole, the Eskimos live. Eskimos need heavy, warm clothing most of the year. They wear mostly the skins and furs of animals. In temperatures which go way below zero, Eskimo children are warm and comfortable as they play in the snow. But in a different part of the world, in the desert lands of Africa, the weather is hot and dry. People who live here wear long robes of cotton and wool. These protect them from the hot sun and the desert wind. People in other lands wear clothing very different from ours. An Eskimo in his fur clothing would seem very much out of place in this group. So with the Fiji Islanders. But does this mean that our clothing is better? Who is more comfortable in hot, sticky weather? This man in his business suit, wearing a tight collar and tie, or the Fiji Islanders? Who is warmer out of doors on a bitterly cold day? This man who lives in Chicago, Illinois, or the Eskimo who lives in a far colder climate? The people of other lands have taught us a good deal about clothing. This big straw hat, called a sombrero, comes from Mexico, our nearest neighbor to the south. And where have you seen cloth as bright and colorful as this beach jacket? This is very delicate needlework, done skillfully and colorfully by a young Arabian girl. People of other lands often have a wonderful feeling for design and for color. We can learn from them, and they can learn from us. Let's go back to pioneer days, back to the early days of the American frontier. Every pioneer probably missed a shot now and again. And lurking behind every tree, there may have been Indians. But not all of them were enemies. In fact, from the Indian, the pioneer learned to make clothing. Clothing of buckskin, the smooth, beautiful skin of the deer. The woodland Indian had worn buckskin for centuries before the coming of the white man. It was good clothing for life in the wilderness. Woolen cloth is made from the thick fleece of sheep. To the pioneer women and girls, woolen cloth seemed better than buckskin. But the rough wool had to be combed out bit, by hand. It had to be spun into yarn on the spinning wheel. And then, after it was dyed, it had to be woven into cloth on a hand loom, slowly, a bit at a time. In pioneer days, it often took a woman weeks to make enough cloth for a simple dress. The cloth was often beautiful, but the work was slow and hard. But today, most of the work of weaving cloth is done by machines, which need few workers to tend them, and by freight train and truck from distant points of our own country, and by ship from other countries of the world come the materials which go into our clothing. From the far west comes the wool from great herds of sheep. From the croplands of the southern and southwestern states, we get cotton to make cloth. And from the green forests comes material for our clothing. Chemists in their laboratories have learned to make cloth from wood pulp. It is called rayon, and nylon is made mostly from coal. But let's see how much work goes into just one item of clothing, a pair of leather shoes. Leather is made from the skins or hides of animals. After the hides are soaked in a strong liquid, a process known as tanning, they must be dried. These men who work with leather are called tanners. After the drying process, the hides are ready to be colored. We can have leather of any color we wish. Tanning, drying, coloring, the work of many skilled men and machines. The final polishing is done on a machine that gives the leather a beautiful luster. We depend on the work done by these tanners who make finished leather out of rough hides. We depend on the man who stitches our shoes on another kind of machine, and on the man who makes sure that our shoes fit us properly, who sees that they are not too tight or too loose. Much hard work and skill goes into making our shoes and all of our clothing. For this reason, it's a good idea to take care of clothes. Shoes need to be polished now and then. The polish makes them look better and wear longer. Dresses keep their shape best if they are put on hangers. Blue jeans and an old sweater are better to play baseball in than a blue serge suit. It's not difficult to learn to sew, to mend holes and tears so that they don't become larger. The materials for our clothing come from every part of the country. It takes the work of many skilled hands and many machines to produce our clothing. We have learned much about clothing, about materials, styles, new ideas from the people of other lands. In clothing and in many other things, we depend on and learn from other people, and they learn from us.
So I was looking up to see what film I could show next. It seems like this Cornet film, Shape Hunting, we might have seen. Although, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Anyways, so Sleepyheads. Stanton Films is one of these small educational film companies where the filmmaker, Stanton, what was his name? Tom Stanton? I can't remember. Basically did work for other educational film companies and then kind of started his own company. A lot of educational film companies would kind of farm out their here I am, I'm actually threading the telecine as I'm talking, and hopefully you can hear me. They would actually farm out the making some films, either because someone was in the right region to do a film, or there was just a demand for stuff for footage that a single educational film company couldn't fulfill. So there are lots of companies that kind of sprouted out of doing work for the big educational film companies. So you just told me threading the telecine. There's a whole thing here where basically it has to go through all these rollers, goes over a sound head, which actually is before the visual gate, and that's projectors are the opposite. And what happens is this has an audio delay built in, because this is basically this machine made by MWA was originally just for sound, and somebody figured out a way to add a unit that would actually have a camera and a trigger to make a telecine. But because this part is something that was in all of these MWA machines for sound, they had to figure out a way to accommodate the visual element being after, as opposed to before. And so that's where there's an audio delay comes in. Anyhow, here is a film called Sleepyheads Revised. Let me change the title here. Enjoy.
Healthy animals are happy animals. They have to be healthy to do the things they do. Different animals do different things, but all of them need good health. Birds are animals too. Most animals like to play, especially young ones. Animals need good, nourishing food for good health. Another way every animal in the whole world stays healthy is to be a sleepyhead sometimes. People are even busier than animals. We not only play, but we work with our minds and our hands. We need good health to do these things too. Sometimes we stop our work and play to eat. Eating good food is also a way people stay healthy. At the end of the day, when our minds and our bodies are tired, we become sleepyheads too, just like every animal. This boy is ready for bed now, but he's worried about his pet goldfish. He thinks they never sleep because their eyes are always open. But goldfish really do sleep. They become very quiet and move very slowly. Goldfish sleep with their eyes wide open. Different animals sleep or rest in different ways, some of which seem pretty strange to us. Tigers don't have comfortable beds like people. Most animals don't. Polar bears, for instance, live where there's snow and ice. They have heavy, warm fur. Polar bears play in the snow, and that's where they sleep. For these animals, a bed of snow and ice is quite comfortable. The little koala bear lives in a much warmer part of the world. The koala bear is a sleepyhead all day long. It sleeps high in a tree. When night approaches, the koala bear awakens, for it always feeds during the night. The hippopotamus sleeps underwater during most of the day. It comes up for air every few minutes. The hippopotamus has a very special nose, which closes when it goes beneath the water. Crocodiles sometimes come into the water to rest. They float along, sound asleep in the warm sun. At other times, crocodiles sleep on the shore in a most unusual way, with their mouths wide open in hopes a tasty bird will stop there to rest. During the night, horses often sleep standing up. They just close their eyes, relax all over, and drift off to sleep. Young horses, because they're busy running and playing so much of the time, lie on the ground to nap during the day. Canaries and many other birds sleep during the night. A bird never falls when it's asleep because its feet lock around the perch. When it awakens, it can unlock its feet and fly away. The swan sleeps in a funny way, standing up on just one leg. Certain kinds of snakes like to sleep on cool, shady rocks during the day. They awaken when it's dark. These snakes hunt for their food during the night. They sleep during the day because they're busy at night. A caterpillar is busy eating day and night. But even this little animal is a sleepyhead sometimes. Every so often it stops eating and rests quietly. This is one way a caterpillar sleeps. When winter comes, certain animals have a very special kind of sleep. A caterpillar that has changed into a pupa lives inside its little house called a cocoon. It doesn't eat, it doesn't move, it just sleeps quietly all winter long. As winter approaches, toads and frogs go into the ground. They hardly move at all, and their hearts beat softly. Many animals are asleep beneath the ice and snow. When spring comes, animals awaken from this special kind of sleep. They were sleepyheads all winter when there was nothing to eat. Now they're rested and hungry after a long winter's sleep. Big animals sleep, little ones sleep. Some animals sleep standing up. Others sleep lying down. Some animals sleep in trees. Some sleep on the ground. Some sleep in the water. Animals sleep in different places in different ways and at different times. But all animals sleep. They're sleepyheads sometimes because sleepyheads stay healthy. And this is true with people, too.
So that was Stanton Films. Oh, there's that weird sound. Tension issue. Tom Stanton. How about that? I knew that information. I don't know my license plate number, but I know that Tom Stanton started Stanton Films. How about that? Okay, so this next film is by AT&T, but it's about driving. Why do you think that is? We showed a film from the 70s about saving gas and improving your gas mileage in your car. That was also brought to us by AT&T. So I guess the hidden message there was a trip really necessary when you could just make a long-distance phone call? And I'm wondering if this is the same type of message, but much earlier. The print itself is pretty dark and contrasty. But it's still pretty good. Here's You're Driving 90 Horses. Enjoy.
Power, 2 horsepower. Controlled by a capable driver. Power, not 2,
but 90 horsepower. Power that in the hands of an irresponsible driver can kill. Power that, on the other hand, can be of great service when controlled by those who are careful and considerate. Each morning as the sun rises, a great green fleet, thousands of telephone cars, leave garages all over the country to provide more and better telephone service. Driving these cars is serious business, and as the number of cars increase and traffic conditions become worse, the drivers bear an ever-increasing responsibility for the safety of themselves and others. Today, throughout the country, 90 people will lose their lives in automobile accidents. Will they be anyone you know? While you are looking at this picture, one will die and 3 will be crippled for life. It happened yesterday too, and the day before. It will happen tomorrow, the next day, and the next. Why? Oh, they give lots of reasons. One says, I had the right of way. Another, he went through a red light. Or, he didn't signal. That's what they say, but actually, they didn't see. They didn't hear. They didn't think. It's human failures, not mechanical failures, that cause most accidents. A vehicle is designed for your safety and convenience. With regular inspection and proper maintenance, it's ready to take you safely wherever you wish under all kinds of weather and highway conditions. But don't forget the most important factor of all, the driver behind the wheel. For it's the driver who determines whether accidents have to happen. Look at this. Do things like this have to happen? Let's see where and how most of our accidents occur. At intersections. On curbs. By bumper chasing. At parking spaces. And here's another common occurrence. When Joe left his truck, there was nothing behind it. It could have been a lot worse, Joe. And here's another. Tom has parked his truck on a grade. As he starts his first job, Tom's car goes on to the next job without him. accident traps waiting for you. Can we avoid them? Thousands of telephone men and women do, year in and year out. They are the safe drivers, the men who respect the lives and the property of others. They are the drivers who see, who hear, and think. They know their car and report faulty conditions for repair, a responsibility of every driver. When they sit behind the wheel, they realize that they're driving 90 horses. You have seen a fellow take good care of a dollar screwdriver or other small tool, and then a little later do this. Safe drivers have a sense of values. To them, a car is a precision tool. More important, they have developed the habits of concentration, control, and courtesy. It's simple. Let's call them the 3 C's of defensive driving. Here is Bob Clark. Through his eyes, let's see what we mean by concentration. Wow. It's moments like that when accidents happen. Concentration means excluding everything but driving from our minds. Control is equally important. Now, if you can stand another short ride, let's go along with Bill Roberts. Bill, I see you're in the 20-mile zone. You're going too fast. You haven't got control. That sign is there for a purpose. Bill, you may not be as lucky the next time. Courtesy is another habit of the safe driver. Courtesy is just good sportsmanship. Now, Jim Riley prides himself on being a good sport. On the course, Jim is one of the nicest fellows you ever met. He doesn't think twice about letting the other fellows through. But in the car, Jim seems to change. Courtesy is forgotten. Now, don't be impatient, Jim. Don't try to drive around them. Aggravating, isn't it? Your driving reflects your character. This wouldn't have happened, Jim, if you had made a habit of being courteous. Concentration, control, and courtesy are the 3 C's of defensive driving. They keep drivers out of accident traps. Of course, every good driver knows that, in addition, there are other important fundamentals of good driving. It's the responsibility of each of us to be sure that mechanically all parts of our car are in proper condition to ensure safe driving. Make sure the seat is adjusted to your height. For comfort and control, grasp the wheel like this. It's called the 10 minutes to 4 grip. This grip provides maximum leverage and keeps the right hand close to the gear shift lever. When going down grade or stopping, use your engine to slow down your vehicle and your brakes merely to assist the engine. Think ahead. Begin to slow down early by taking your foot off the accelerator. Apply your brakes evenly and firmly. Disengage your clutch just in time to keep the engine from stalling. The parking brake is not intended for use in stopping or to slow down except in an emergency. It is designed to hold the vehicle when it's not moving. These fundamentals, plus the 3 C's, are the tools that safe drivers use at all times, and particularly in locations where accidents are most likely to happen. Here is an example of defensive driving. This driver is approaching an intersection. He concentrates on his car, the car ahead, the car behind, and the car that's probably around the corner. He uses control, signals, and slows down enough to allow time to look left, right, and left again. Whether the signal is with him or against him, he's courteous. Rights of way are meaningless if the other driver doesn't stop. When a view of an intersection is obstructed, the defensive driver is particularly careful. It is the driver's responsibility to get through intersections safely. Backing accidents can be avoided if, whenever possible, we park where we don't have to back. When backing into traffic, apply the 3 C's and prevent an accident. Back up slowly. Be ready to stop instantly. And be courteous if someone blocks your path. Watch for other cars, bicycles, and children at play. When parking at a curb, make sure there's enough space. Parallel the car ahead. Give the proper hand signal. Make sure the path is clear and back slowly, cutting your wheels. Watch those fenders and bumpers. When you have backed about half the length of your car, straighten your wheels. Turn them in the opposite direction as you move into the parking space. parked, your car should be a few inches from the curb. In leaving a parking space, look ahead and to the rear to make sure it's safe to enter traffic. Do not depend only on your hand signal and rear vision mirror. When passing parked cars, has this ever happened to you? There's a warning if you know what to look for. Watch for this definite front wheel signal. It can be seen 100 feet ahead. If there's someone in the driver's seat, be careful, as he may suddenly pull out from the curb. In parking on a grade, you'll find your car where you left it. If you toe in the wheels to the curb, set the handbrake, make sure it's set, turn off the ignition, remove keys and lock the doors. In alleys, you will find a combination of many driving hazards. They are narrow and generally lined with fender benders. Remember these words, blind alley, every time you drive in or drive out of one. Now let's consider pedestrians. We know they will not always cross over at intersections, traffic lights, or within the marked lanes. The responsible driver recognizes this, and he drives accordingly. When following traffic, be ready for emergency stops. Allow a full car length distance between your car and the car ahead for each 10 miles of speed. Curves are serious accident traps. Never pass on a curve. Keep well to the right with your car under control. You never know what the other driver may do. When we cut in and out of traffic, follow too close, or speed, we are gambling. And we have no right to gamble with lives and property. Next time you're tempted to exceed safe speed limits, remember a 90 horsepower engine can build up forces that brakes cannot control. The force of a head-on collision at 60 miles an hour is the same as driving your car off the roof of a 10-story building. Would you do this? No, you wouldn't. So why do this? These cars might just as well have been driven off a 10-story building. Nature often causes conditions that require added concentration, control, and courtesy. Winter driving calls for all defensive driving techniques. A snow-covered countryside can be beautiful, but to the safe driver, it spells danger. Clear vision is of first importance. This windshield is an accident maker. Traction is equally important. Spinning the wheels can be prevented by releasing the clutch pedal slowly with the car in second or high. Snow tires will help. The safe driver knows when chains are necessary, but he also knows that he cannot be overconfident just because he has on a good set of traction aids. We We can only operate safely by driving at a speed consistent with road conditions. Slow down when passing on a narrow road. Snowy and icy roads require looking farther ahead and giving yourself greater distance in which to stop. This means to approach intersections at greatly reduced speed. Winter driving can be safe driving if we meet each situation with our minds on our driving, the car under control, and courtesy as our guide. For all kinds of driving, the 3 C's will help us to cope with the unpredictable acts of others. Concentration, keeping our mind on what we're doing. Control, driving the car instead of the car driving us. Courtesy, giving freely the right of way regardless of conditions. Wherever we are, north, south, east, or west, telephone people can help to prevent the destruction of life and property that occurs day after day. Wherever we travel, perform a courteous deed. Give freely the right of way, or give aid in an emergency. It will be convincing proof that to telephone men and women, giving service is more than putting in instruments or answering calls. This is our safety creed. It's the creed of the defensive driver.
It feels like that was made for employees. It's kind of interesting. And I mean, if you think about early driver's ed films, many of them were made by insurance companies, specifically Aetna, made a bunch of them. And they were actually behind lobbying states to require drivers' education and licenses, and trying to come up with a skill set of what you would have to do to get your driver's license. All of this, of course, because they were paying out, them and others in the industry were paying out a lot for auto collisions, and this was a way to kind of hedge that. And this is an example of an insurance companies actually doing the right thing. Because it actually did improve a lot about how we drive and the safety behind us driving. But I'm wondering if this was made specifically for employees. Maybe AT&T was paying out a lot for casualties, and they were losing employees because they had so many employees, and so many of them were traveling. That's just, I'm not 100% sure. And of course it does work for general viewing as well, but I'm wondering if the impetus behind it was specifically to help their employees. I don't know. Maybe somebody can look it up and see if they can find a mention in an old newspaper or an old AT&T employee newsletter. Stuff like that is showing up more and more, which allows us to kind of connect those dots. So thanks everyone for tuning in today. Very much appreciate your eyeballs. Tomorrow is going to be a pre-recorded show because I'm going to be at my niece's birthday party. So I'll try to come up with something tonight that is thematically related to children's birthday parties. But everybody have a great weekend ahead of time. If you like what you saw, you can buy us coffee. I'll certainly drink some coffee tomorrow. I'll need it because it'll be a little girl's birthday party. ko-fi.com/avgeeks is where you go if you want to buy us coffee. But you can also hit the thumbs up button, the like button, the subscribe button, and as always, you can share what we're doing. Big fan of you guys coming in and watching, and I like seeing all the new faces. So keep watching. And while I won't see you tomorrow, I'll be there somehow in spirit as I'm eating birthday cake, and I think it's a pizza party too. So pizza. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again very soon. Take care.